Hi, Darlene here from Darlene's Garden. Today's video shouldn't be very long. I just wanted to show you a couple of things that I hadn't really set out today to do, but did anyway. And I'm going to turn you around here and show you a couple of things. I had those onion florets, and I realized when I went to move one of them that I have tons of seeds. So I didn't really have a good way to get all of the seeds out, so I'm gathering more. I thought I got all of them. I obviously didn't. But I've got this whole thing here of seeds, and then I've got the little stems that go through the, but lots and lots of onion seeds. So I will be able to plant onions from seed next year. I might even plant a few of them this fall. The other thing I did today was to work on the arugula. I know this just looks like the little things that the seeds come in. It's a little hard to separate them out, but down on the bottom here, there they are. You can see them. I have lots and lots of arugula seeds down in the bottom of this. So you can see more of them. Lots and lots of arugula seeds. So I will also be able to plant out arugulas. Okay, I'm going to keep working on this. Just kind of keep, notice I've got some down in there, and I'll move those over into the bowl where all the rest of them are. I still have quite a few kale seeds that I collected last year, and I need to get those planted out here fairly soon for my fall garden. And I've got some kale already that's up and doing okay. So I should have lots of kale through the winter. I find that if I put hoops with plastic over top, well, I'll start out with putting row cover when it starts getting cool, and then I'll add plastic. And I find if it's going to be real cold, two layers of plastic actually keeps everything pretty safe, because I've got some kale plants this year that were kale plants last year. They were in their second year, and they haven't bolted yet. Now some of them from this year bolted, but I've got one section of my garden it gets sun, but then it gets shade earlier in the day before the rest of the garden does. And the more, the more cool weather plants I put there, the better they do when I cover them up for winter and such. So I've been watching videos where people have been tearing out their tomato plants because they're done. Gosh, mine are just starting. I've got several plants. The ones that surprise me the most are the ones that are out by my big tall poplar trees, because they're shady a good part of the day, but they're just loaded. And I noticed that some of them are starting to turn, so that's good. They look like they're shaped a bit like either a Roma or a paste tomato of some sort. And at one point I had all of my tomatoes labeled, but I discovered that the labels I made are worthless. I'll have to try something different next year, I guess. I've tried these were popsicle sticks. Well, just as soon as they get wet, you can't tell what it says. And I've tried the white ones with a little, they're plastic. You write on them and the writing just wipes right off, even though you're using permanent marker. So I'll have to come up with something different and creative, maybe. But I've been thinking a lot about next year's garden, well, beginning with my fall garden. I think I want to kind of focus on perennials and things that can become perennial. I know the kale can winter over. I know that some cabbage can winter over. Depends on things. I've got that one I called my cabbage tree that had regular cabbages on it. I think it's in its 3rd year now, and it just makes leaves, but I find it fascinating, so I keep it around.
What are you doing?
Well, hubby came in and said, "What are you doing?" You probably heard him. I said, "I'm talking to my phone." He knew I was making a video, but he didn't know that until he heard me and saw me. So, I suppose at some point I ought to do something with my hair. What you think? It's not as hot today, but it's still plenty hot enough. Well, it's cooled off to 89 right at the moment, but it was like 91. I think it might have gotten to 92. It was supposed to stop around 89 today, but it got a little hotter than that. So it's still a little warm for working out in the yard, or I'm a wuss, one or the other. I don't like working in the hot. I get sweaty too easy. But my garden's looking better because I finally got a lot of the weeding done in my main garden. Out of my mound garden, though, I still have a lot of mulching to do to get rid of weeds out there. The weeds that are coming up, I mean, technically they're all edible, but it's the mostly common mallow and the dandelion things. I don't think they're real dandelions. I don't know what they're called. They're not low to the ground like dandelions, but they grow up tall and have a dandelion-like flower on them. Maybe you could leave in the comments what the names of those are. I don't remember. It's like a dandelion, but it isn't. I think it must be in the same family because they have the little yellow dandelion flower and puffballs if you let them go too long. But they grow up tall instead of down close to the ground like a dandelion. And they haven't got they've got leaves that are kind of like, I should go out there and show you, but it's hot, so I'm not going to. Anyway, I still have that area to take care of, and then another area over on the other side that's got a ton of grass and thistles mixed in with my good plants. So I still have those areas to take care of. I'll get them done eventually. But I want to focus on getting as many perennials, both edible and non-edible, as possible. And that way next year I can focus my summer garden on my tomatoes and peppers and beans. And my squash didn't do well this year. I like to grow squash. I'll probably still grow it because I like to. And I want to grow more sunflowers than I did this year. I just planted individual sunflower. What seemed to work best for me this year, well, last year I planted sunflower seeds and a lot of them didn't come up. So this year I planted them. I made starts indoors and then planted the plants, and that seemed to work a lot better because they all took off and came up. But next year, just want to broadcast a lot of sunflower seeds and just hopefully a lot of them. I would like lots and lots of sunflowers. And I know that my sunchokes that I started this year will look a bit like sunflowers too. And I think the more pollinators I have, plants that the pollinators love, the more I have. the better it's going to be. I think the more blooms for the pollinators, the better my tomatoes and peppers will do. And they're doing pretty good this year, except they're slow. Like, I started to say, other people are pulling theirs out and mine are just starting to get ripe. And I don't have that much longer left of my growing season. We could get a frost as early as in the middle of September. I think it says my frost date is April 6th or something, or not April, October 6th or something like that. But it could come as early as the middle of September. And right now we're practically at the end of August, so I don't hopefully my tomatoes get all ripe before the frost. But if they don't, I'll do what I did last year. If there's a frost coming, I'll just pick them all and bring them in. And what I did last year, wrapped all of the green ones up in newspaper and put them in a basket. And it took a while, but they all eventually got ripe. And the ones that are starting to turn will get ripe just sitting on the counter. But the ones that are just totally green, they will eventually get ripe if they're wrapped up in the newspaper. So I think that's pretty good. Plus, we do like fried green tomatoes. I'll use some of them for that too. One of these years, I'd like to have enough tomatoes to actually can some tomatoes for soups. And so, well, what I tend to use the tomatoes the most for, and I've just been using canned tomatoes from the grocery store, is spaghetti. I think we like lasagna too, but it's been a really long time since I've made any. So I should make some lasagna. Well, I've got some zucchini. I should make lasagna using zucchini instead of pasta. That would be really good, wouldn't it? But I don't have any ricotta or cottage cheese, either one. So I have to buy some cheese in order to do that. I do have Parmesan cheese, and I do have cheddar cheese, but I can't put cheddar cheese in the things that I cook for both my husband and myself, because he won't eat the cheddar or American cheese, either one. It kind of it gives him a little bit of constipation, if you want to know the truth. It doesn't bother me any. I can eat any kind of cheese. But he does just fine with the white cheese. It's yellow. Oh, I just dropped you all over the place here. Okay, so let me see if I can find you back. All right. Okay. Did you like that little tumble? Well, I'm rambling on, babbling at you. So I'm going to go ahead and close out this video. I keep thinking I should do a live video, and I really should. One of these days I'll get around to it. I hesitate to announce an exact date or time of day or time of week or whatever, because it'll just be on a whim. And I also will let you know that come next week, I may not make a video next week, because you've heard me mention Toastmasters before. I belong to Toastmasters. Next week is the International Convention. We were supposed to go to Paris this year, but that part got canceled. But they decided not to cancel the convention. Instead, the whole thing is being done online. It's a virtual convention. It's a brand new concept for Toastmasters to do so much virtually. Anyway, that's happening next week, and I want to attend as much of that as I can. A lot of it I won't be able to do, quote, live. I'll have to watch the replay, because all of the times on their schedule is Greenwich Mean Time. So like they start a session at 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, that's 1 o'clock in the morning for me. I am not going to get up at 1 o'clock in the morning to watch something. I will watch the rewind of it. They will have it available for, they said, for 24 hours afterwards, so I'll have plenty of time to watch the things that happen too early in the morning for me to get up and watch them. Not really a morning person, but I'm more of a, by force, I'm more of a morning person than I am a night person. Left to my own devices, I would be a night person. So I get up, well, I don't really get up early except on certain mornings, like Sundays and Tuesdays. I get up at 5 a.m. Other mornings I'm up anytime between 6 and 8. I try to always make sure I'm up by 8 o'clock. And that is, I know that's really sleeping in for most of you that have animals and such. I just have my kitty cats. So here I don't have any chickens or goats or pigs or cows or geese or ducks, or just my 2 kitty cats and my hubby. Oh, and my worms, of course, and my worms don't care what time it is. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you go for today. I've just babbled at you long enough. And I intended to talk to you about saving seeds, which you saw me doing at the beginning of the video. I've got some other seeds that I've got some cabbage type seeds that I need to get out of their little shells and get them put somewhere too. So I save, mostly it's the cold weather crop things that I am best at saving the seeds. I've got just a few little cucumber seeds that I've saved, but I think I'm better off just buying cucumbers. Oh, and I bought some elderberry seeds, and I planted some of them, but they haven't germinated, so I'll give that another try. The packet that I bought had a bunch in there, so hopefully there'll be something in there that will. I really would like to start an elderberry bush, or tree as the case may be, or a couple of them, because I realize how good elderberry is for one. And I don't know if there's any around here. We kind of live in town, so I don't have access to just our roadside has sagebrush and teasel and black-eyed Susans and stuff like that. It doesn't, I've never seen any elderberry along the side of the road. We're not that far from the mountains. I could drive, 15 miles and be up in the mountains. But I hesitate to take anything like that off of someone else's property without express permission, so that's not something I'll do. I just need my own. One of those perennial things that I'd like to add to my own garden. Well, I said I was going to stop talking. I could just babble on at you for hours, I suppose, just the way it is. Well, I'm going to go ahead. I really am going to go ahead and log and sign off. And I will see you on my next video. But until then, may the good Lord richly bless you. Bye.